realizes Razor's still available in the pool after the first pick Death Prophet from Moscow 5. Death Prophet, although she was hit pretty heavily with nerfs, especially the indirect nerfs are what really hit her harder in just the pace of the game. But still, Death Prophet, a really solid hero that teams are favoring. Still, just offering a really good mid laner, being able to spam out those waves, and still Exorcism is as strong as ever inside the team fights, as well as into transitioning into those tower pushes, despite having a slightly longer cooldown. So still waiting on the Twitch stream to go online. It is going to take about 2 minutes before everything's available. I believe we're going on to HeflaTV 1, if I'm not mistaken. So if you are watching and the ESFX stream is still online, that's where you can find the stream. Yeah, it is going to be xGame eating fairly heavily through the reserve time for these first picks, and it's a first pick Medusa coming out from xGame. I think that Medusa definitely deserves a little bit more praise inside the draft than she has been seeing previously, but honestly, first pick is incredibly greedy. Although with an Empower on the Medusa, if you catch more than 2 people inside that RP, it's almost guaranteed to be a one-team fight. It's the amount of damage Medusa can pump out, especially with that 50% bonus damage, even though she doesn't benefit from the cleave, with her split shot definitely making up for that fact. It's a very potent combination. Absolutely, and not even to mention Stone Gaze is pretty solid on Rubik either way, especially for amplifying that physical damage of the Death Prophet. Already 2 really big spells that Rubik can get his hands on to. The next ban's coming out from either team. Anti-Mage being taken out by xGame, definitely an understandable ban, although under normal circumstances that looks really weird. Up against Medusa, probably one of the better carries is with a Mantis style as well as a mana burn on all of those illusions. You can really put a lot of hurt into the Medusa. I definitely don't think that's a bad option. They are going to be picking up a Tidehunter into the Rubik, but more teamfight presence is not going to be a bad thing. They definitely will want some other space creators. Going for another farming hero with the Medusa already on your side is a tad greedy. I think the supports are going to be the focus of this next pick, or these next couple picks for xGame. Earthshaker's still available in the pool, and they're still considering this next ban as they chew through the greater half of their reserve time. Still, it's the time in the draft that is probably the most important for both of these teams, as this is where it's really going to go towards either side. But honestly, X Games cards are already on the table. I think they'll just go for the likes of the Earthshaker and maybe another range support to pair along with it. The Vengeful Spirit being banned out is a really solid ban, as it would be even more bonus damage for the Medusa, as well as defensive swaps. It combos really well, and they'll go for the Batrider. I think this is a solid choice. It's not going to be a Tidehunter as far as the AoE is concerned, but pretty much unparalleled as far as being able to find those single target pickoffs.
Oh yeah, so at the moment, just Batrider, definitely good hero like I already said. Go for the single target, which I love up against Death Prophet. If you use the Exorcism, or even if he doesn't, I guess you just focus him down. Usually Exorcism probably one of the biggest threats in most team fights. At least when it's level 2 or 3. Level 1 Exorcism I guess isn't all that scary, but then again, earlier on it kind of makes up for it. Or, well, in any case, Moscow 5, they do need their own cores. They need their safe lane. Of course, Moscow 5, they are rather used to playing an Enigma, of course. Do you think we're gonna see a PGG Enigma here?
Potentially. It definitely wouldn't be a terrible choice, although you don't see the supports coming up from xGame, and they could go fairly aggressive with the roaming with those two, so maybe they'll shy away from it, but they already have the Rubik on their side. Um, mm, I don't know. I think they're probably going to pick up another core, and well, this may or may not be a core. It's going to be Mirana picked up for them. Lift into Arrow is a pretty solid combo, although not as guaranteed as a Shadow Demon or a Bane. It's still a pretty potent roaming duo.
It most certainly is. Mirana, like you said, can be either one, a support or core still. I I actually like it as a support more, I have to say. Telekinesis is not the best of setups, but should be enough against most heroes, I think. And really don't see Moscow 5 going for an aggressive tri lane at the moment. It wouldn't be maybe too bad of an option trying to slow down the Medusa, but whatever offlaner Moscow 5 are gonna go with, Medusa will most likely just get absolute free farm in this game. And unless Rubik and Mirana just heavily rotate around, I still think it's going to be rather hard for them to just get the kills here.
Yeah, I think that's fair with Firefly and the Batrider skewer away from the Magnus, as well as Medusa just being deceptively tanky with that mana shield. It's going to be a Shadow Shaman pick for xGame, a hero that Reeves is pretty comfortable on, although they are missing quite a decent amount of range. Honestly, I'd like to have seen them pick up the Earthshaker in place of that Shadow Shaman. But then again, if they're not going to pick up the Earthshaker here, maybe they have something different in mind for that fifth support, or fifth hero rather, second support.
Moscow 5, I guess, they can still pick up the Enigma if they want, or anything really xGame. I really love Shadow Shaman. I really don't know why it isn't all that popular anymore. Just the skill set that the hero has. The nuke, the double lockdown, plus the mass serpent wars. All of them such great tools, really. And as the secondary support though, Earthshaker, you mentioned already as well, I wouldn't mind. Whoa, Moscow 5 picking up a Nyx Assassin. I guess teams have tried to go for the same route before as well, just mana burn the Medusa so the mana shield isn't all that effective.
I don't know. Nyx Assassin's mana burn is fairly lackluster as far as burning the mana of the Medusa. It just doesn't do enough. Once you get to Scotty, it is going to do some pretty significant damage, and it is going to be a good tool at their disposal. But honestly, I still think that the Centaur would have been a better offlaner for Moscow 5 because he'd offer more utility in that respect. Is the Impale is nice as well as the Invis roaming from the Nyx Assassin. I don't know. I think it's personal choice. Nyx Assassin versus Medusa. It's a good hero by any stretch, or yeah. But I'd like to see the Centaur more.
Well, I guess it's also nice up against Batrider. Used to be one of the more common counters, just Skyrapas into the Firefly, so might be trying to go for like 2 against 1 or something. But looking at the last bans, Earthshaker taken out by Moscow 5, I guess it's not all that big of a surprise. Really good defensive and aggressive hero both, whichever you want to go for. And Klinks, banned out by xGame. Klinks is a hero that I actually have seen banned out quite often, but rarely getting picked up.
Yeah, I'd love to see me some Klinks. The Orchid would be pretty useful for hunting the likes of the Shadow Shaman, and potentially the Batrider as well. Yeah, I don't know. It would have given them a decent late game hero, and it's going to be a last pick bounty hunter from xGame. This is probably going to be a roaming bounty hunter position for Pylai Dice Style, although they don't have an enemy jungler. I'm still not sold on this one. I'm not sure if it's going to offer them enough, but it looks like that was what they had in mind as their last support, is there wasn't very much hesitation with that pick.
That's definitely a pretty damn weird one, to be honest. Really, you hardly see it in a 4th position. And even then, they're gonna have to allocate a lot of just XP to the bounty hunter because all he really needs are once is that level 6 and from there on just try to get the snowball for their entire team. The one thing with this pick in particular I feel is lacking a little bit is just what's the proper follow-up for the reverse polarity here? Just they have the Firefly, I guess, like Mystic Snake if Medusa even skills it, or just Split Shot, Earth Shock. There's just really no wombo combo. I guess they're gonna have to rely on their lasso plus the reverse polarity, both of them, so they don't need to land like the biggest reverse polarities because they have that much lockdown. Although still the bounty hunter, man, they're gonna have to get it past level 6 because it's not like it's particularly great at roaming either early. So I'm not too sure who's actually gonna even have the upper hand in the early game here.
Yeah, that said, we are going to jump into the game here on the Radiant side. It is going to be xGame playing in that side of the map with Stallcat handling the Magnus, heading towards the mid lane, with Tamash going to be handling the off lane Batrider, and the safe lane farmer Medusa is going to be played by Wadafaka, leaving the supports Reeves on the Shadow Shaman, and last but not least, our roaming bounty hunter played by Equal.
And for Moscow 5, who have already smoked up as well, PGG will lead the charge on the support Mirana with Blow Your Brain playing the Razor, as Trotata should be Vigos on the Death Prophet, Tron to be the Nyx Assassin, and King R is going to be the last one on the Rubik. And do you think, can they be sneaky enough to just land themselves an early first blood here?
Well, potentially, if they get that arrow lined up on somebody, that's going to be the biggest key here. Equal is roaming around Invis and might scout out these heroes, although he is heading towards the rune and isn't going to bump into them. The hero that might be in some trouble is Wadavaka, although no boots on Rubik, they still get the lift off, pulling back in. There's no arrow, but the impale is going to be on the mark. The arrow does land on the sidelines as Wadavaka gets mana shield way too late, and Tron is going to be the one to pick up our first blood.
To be honest, do you know why? Because I have no clue why Medusa actually turned around there for a second.
No.
He had the exact same movement speed as Rubik, so in theory he should have been able to escape that. But he just turned around, tried to go for... I don't know. Oh, the arrow lands onto equal as well. If they get another telekinesis, it might be yet another kill for them. Invis comes out. They had the sentry ward down as well. Do they have enough damage to bring him down before he... Never mind. He just exits the sentry range.
Yeah, Equal's going to be safe at least this time around. It's unfortunate for Moscow 5, although they still get a really good start this game. Their safe lane isn't able to get the block, but then again, the Batrider hasn't been blocking the creeps that much either, so it's not going to hurt them at all. Yeah, they're just going to leave this Nyx Assassin solo off lane. To start things off, the Mirana is going to be sitting mid, potentially looking for an arrow to land onto Stallcat. If there's a little bit of harass before from Vigos, it might net them a kill. They are going to go for the arrow, and it's going to land squarely onto Stallcat. The right clicks as well as the Cryptstorm might be enough to get this kill, as it's just stunned forever, and it will be so, as Equal's still inside sentry range. He can't get the return kill onto Vigos, and starting out 2-0, Moscow 5. Definitely showing their colors here. Let's see. PGG is almost completely tapped out of mana and is going to be going for a Sentry Ward mission, potentially looking for the Courier Snipe, although since he's been scouted out by Equal, this shouldn't succeed.
If it does, I'd be just extremely surprised. Of course, at with Equal, yeah, he's finally gonna go for it. Gets even pinged out by PGG as well. And PGG doesn't even have too much mana. Can still man-fight Equal, of course. Just right-click for right-click. It's not like Stallcat can really come in and help. Even if he skills Skewer now, level 1 isn't all that scary for the Mirana. Has enough mana for a leap as well. But man, this Bounty Hunter, at least he started with Orb of Venom, so that's definitely good. Increases the roaming potential a little bit. Is it gonna be enough though? He's
No.
Oh man. Those sneaky plays, going into Invis, getting a few right clicks, going in once again. Has to be a little bit careful though, PGG. Has to leap out
PGG
into
shouldn't
one
die.
more. Whoa.
Yeah, he has the leap. I think he's going to succeed in this escape. Operating only with 3 extra movement speed, and Equal's just going to chase him down. Without any boots, however, on the Bounty Hunter, he can't do it at only level 1. Really, one of the biggest problems with running a roaming Bounty Hunter is getting up to that level 2 and 3 mark, to where you can actually make something happen. He's going to sit on this 2-minute rune, is up in top. Blur Your Brain with 6 stacks of the Sticky Napalm. He's not in the Firefly, but the right clicks are still probably going to be enough from Tamash, as he's going to get this solo kill into Blow Your Brain. Stick Charge is going to come out, and Tamash might die the tower, indeed he will. But it is still going to be a kill going his way. Mirana is going to be chased down by the Bounty Hunter, picking up that double damage rune, and with that extra boost of damage, it is Equal picking up the kill. 2-3 is our kill score.
Well, suddenly not looking all that bad for xGame, especially since Bounty Hunter is level 2 now as well, and I actually think he was, with the Shadow Walk, on top of the double damage rune, waiting for the Mirana to come in there. Just picked up the double damage in front of the Mirana, and one right click, and just easy kill. PGG didn't have any consumables to actually get his health back up. Maybe should have just ran all the way back home instead of trying to hang around, go for that greedy ward, or the greedy rune rather. And suddenly xGame, 2-3, not all that bad, plus of course Medusa, free farming bottom lane.
Yeah, and this is pretty much the ideal situation for Medusa. There's nothing that Nyx Assassin can really do to pressure out this Medusa. Nyx is still getting the levels, but Medusa is going to have the farm one way or another. He's trading hits with Reeves, but with an Ether Shock going his way, he gets the lesser half of that exchange, not being able to pull the Spike Carapace in time. As PGG rotates down here, if they land an arrow onto Reeves, Reeves might fall, although Tron is not looking too healthy, is tangoing up on the sidelines. Yeah, PGG's made some pretty good rotations, although this one's going to be spotted out by this Observer Ward of the Radiant, so he shouldn't be able to find anything because of this. Magnus is going to know that Mirana is looking for a potshot arrow in mid.
I guess, even if you know, it might not help you all that much, because there's a limit to how defensively you can play or want to play Equal though. Coming in with the Shadow Walk, gonna scout out PGG, probably gonna go for the Chinada harass as well. And oh, are they really gonna go for the kill? They have Skewer level 2. Shockwave, there's the Shackles long range from the high ground. Skewer back as well. Even if he leaves, he's gonna be screwed, I think. Orb of Venom, one more Shockwave. And suddenly 3-3, kill score is tied up. And they're even gonna get the rune, I think, unless Tron, can he body block it properly? No, Bounty rune, actually yeah, Tron gets it. At least denies the bottle refill to Stallcat.
Yeah. small wins going the way of Moscow 5 at the end of that. This bounty hunter has made quite a lot happen where I didn't think he'd be able to do so. He does now have that point to Janata, and bounty hunter can set up kills, although it's not the easiest, and he's going to rely fairly heavily on finding heroes when they're not expecting it, as well as having a little bit of backup. It's still looking pretty good for xGame, mostly because their Medusa is being untouched. It is going to be a Mystic Snake build coming up from Wadafaka. I'm still not sold on the Mystic Snake build when you're a safe lane Medusa, but either way, it's still going to offer a little bit of harass and damage, as well as that mana drain. It's not empty points, but I feel that the stats are probably a little bit more important. But Medusa not being pressured doesn't really need that extra damage in the lane.
I really think that Mystic Snake can be strong if you have a spell like Reverse Polarity on your team. Although, especially early on, the Reverse Polarity probably not gonna hit all that many targets. Moscow 5, they have 4 ranged heroes, so they shouldn't really be all that clumped up anyway. Especially Rubik wants to stay at the back lines to get that proper spell steal off as well. So I can agree with you that stats might have been better, at least in this game. So I guess it's just player preference kind of is equal. Once again with PGG, they're doing the dancing. Another Shadow Walk comes out from equal. PGG, he spotted it out. And actually equal, he is completely screwing Mirana over. He can't do anything with his rotations.
Yeah. I mean, it's the bounty hunter that's not really getting any kills, but still, if you're negating the effect of an enemy hero, that's pretty solid as in mid. Exorcism used, a couple of Crypt Storms and Nado attack. Vigos gets the kill onto the Magnus here is equal. He's still around, although with Exorcism still going and the bottle charges keep Vigos safe. He can't do anything, especially since he eats a Crypt Swarm. He is going to slow down Vigos, but he can't do any more than that.
Yes, he actually bottled now as well. Of course, with the Shadow Walk, should be really easy to snatch most bottles. And now Vigos' his ultimate ends as well equal, should be just fine. Gets the regeneration rune. Gonna go for actually some harass onto Vigos as well. Just a few right clicks. Get the Chinada proc as well as the Orb of Venom going. Bottom lane, Bounty Rune got taken up by Shadow Shaman. So nice rune control so far coming out from xGame. Both teams have been trying to prioritize it a little bit. xGame though, just with the Shadow Walk, having a clear advantage I think. Although PGG looks like he's completely given up on the roaming, just sitting on the top lane, although it's not like he can do anything here. But he's in his own jungle anyway.
Yeah, it's not a great game to be that roaming Mirana, and I guess this makes the bounty hunter pick make a little bit more sense when you're operating with jungling and roaming heroes. And your bounty hunter can give you that intelligence, as well as just making your lives very difficult. A Mirana that doesn't land arrows in the early game and get kills is a very useless Mirana, but Medusa, she eats the Impel and the Crypt Storm, and that's all they needed to get that kill. I thought Medusa might survive through it, but she didn't have Mana Shield activated.
I was actually just thinking about it that when he does have Mana Shield activated on the lane at all times, then Nyx Assassin, if he goes for the Mana Burn, you're gonna lose actually even more mana because Mana Burn also damages at the same time. So I guess maybe that's his reasoning why not keep it active, but of course you need to be so damn fast on the reaction. Once you see the Impale, once you start seeing the animation of the Nyx Assassin, you should pop it immediately, just in case kind of. So Moscow 5, they really snatched themselves a fast one here. Suddenly Arcane Boots onto Tron as well. He's level 7, goes for the first Vendetta. Oh man, Shadow Shaman, it should be such an easy pick off here. Oh never mind, they want what the fuck. He gets the Mana Shield though. Is he gonna die still? Taking a lot of damage and telekinesis up. Once again, just core down.
Yeah, and that Medusa had a really good early start, but just like that, she's died 3 times. And that completely throws away any advantage that Medusa had currently on the net worth chart below the likes of the Nyx Assassin after those last couple of kills. And suddenly Moscow 5 are looking really solid, especially since they're getting a tier 1 down in bottom with that usage of Exorcism. Skewer in mid, looking for PGG. The Shockwave's going to do him in as Stallcat secures that kill. Still, it's a level 2 Mirana, or level 4, excuse me. She has been soaking in mid. But yeah, tier 1 tower is still going to fall in the favor of Moscow 5. Yeah, this early game was looking good for xGame until those last couple of kills, and just like that, the game's turned on its head. This Nyx Assassin is really working out for them. That first usage of Vendetta, netting them the most important kill they can find on the map.
That's just the one downside of what lanes xGame went for. Equal, yes, on the Bounty Hunter, created quite a lot of space, made it so that Mirana can't easily fish for arrows into the mid lane, for example. But that meant that Nyx Assassin, I mean, Shadow Shaman just isn't enough solo. Medusa can't really help out almost at all in pressuring the Nyx Assassin out of the lane. Just really nice lane decision by Moscow 5 overall, I think, as well. Mirana, unfortunately, has 3 deaths as well, so struggling quite much. At least level-wise, Shadow Shaman and Bounty Hunter are the same as Mirana. Actually, how is the Rubik doing? Level 5.5 almost. If he gets the spell steal as well, definitely gonna help out their cause.
For sure, and it's going to be a pretty fast level 6 under Rubik, in fact. Probably going to get that at minute
Top
10
lane,
or
reverse
so.
polarity.
Yep.
Oh man, should be an easy kill really. Shockwave comes through, lasso just in case. And help, it wasn't fast enough.
Yeah, PGG was in the area looking for an arrow. It's going to land on the Stallcat again. He's just been an arrow magnet. They start with Vendetta, follow up with the Impale. They have a lift as well, and Stallcat is going to fall. PGG might burn the fire and the flames, and he will do so, as Tamash is going to find himself another kill, and King R looking pretty unhealthy here as they look for the Janata hit. It is going to land, although with the dust, Equal is not going to be able to pursue that any further. Tron looking for the Impale. He's not going to throw up pump faking twice, pump faking 3 times. It is going to land on the last cast of that, as Equal is going to fall. 2-for-2 trade up in top. It's going to... I'm not actually sure who it's going to favor. We'll have to see the fight recap, but the end of it, it is going to be xGame getting a little bit more since they were starting off on the back foot as far as the golden experience graphs are concerned.
It's just the Razor died as well to begin with. So
Yeah,
that was the most important thing there, I guess. Although, unfortunately, still Bounty Hunter died rather early as well. Couldn't get the most XP, but he's still rather close to level 6. So once they get the track, and if they just continue going for kills, and that's the thing with xGame as well. If they do get the track available for themselves, they can trade actually and pretty much know for sure that you're gonna come out ahead every single time. Track is just such a powerful tool if you can go for the pickoffs, but with a Blink Dagger to be finished on Tomash and the Batrider, they should definitely just be able to kind of blow up heroes left and right.
For sure, especially since their Magnus doesn't have a blink of his own. It's not an unconventional build by any stretch of the imagination. He's just going for those arcanes first, but it is going to delay his impact in this game, especially since he's died 3 times. Yeah, let's see. Tamash, this is going to be a very important rotation. He gets the Blink Dagger at a good timing. They need to make something happen. Equal is going to go ahead and stack these Ancients. I believe it is going to succeed and get a little bit of extra gold available on the map for Medusa, whose farm has almost completely stopped after those early kills.
Oh, top lane, they get another stun onto Magnus. He's gonna go down, silence, no skewer, actually magic wand, lasso onto Tron as well. Nicely done, Equal. He's there with the first track. So they get the first track kill of the day for them. And even just save the Stallcat. Magic wand, best item in the game.
Yeah, it is going to be quite a big amount of gold going the way of xGame, and yeah, that Blink Dagger coming in huge from the Batrider. It's 11 minutes in, which is when you want to start thinking that the Batrider is going to have his Blink, maybe even a little bit earlier than that, but still, Moscow 5 weren't expecting it. He was smoked up, and he just finds the perfect time to rotate. Equal is going to meet up with his best friend in the world, PGG, as PGG's dropping pretty low to these neutrals. The Plasma Field comes out, and PGG... It's not going to be a solo kill for Equal, but if he has any backup at all, it could be fairly easy to track him up. Now the Shadow Shaman roams in. They're going to throw the dust away of Equal. He's going to get linked up by Razors. The Circle Wards are down to the ground. The RP completely whiffs, but the Shockwave's enough to do in PGG. Shackles on the Blurry Brain. The ultimate from Wadafaka, right-clicking them down. The Mystic State comes through as King R is going to be stoned up. They shackle up Stallcat, and now the Extras are working on this Magnus. Magnus is not long for this world, as he will be burned down by those ghosts. It is a support for a core, but they do get that extra gold. The stun on the Medusa misses coming out from Tron, and he's also tracked up now.
Safe to say that it was a pretty bad fight for xGame. Just, first of all, missing the RP completely like that, and even if he hadn't missed it, on a solo support like that, is it even worth it, to be honest? I'm not too sure it is. Yes, he was tracked, but if they had reverse polarity with the Stone Gaze, for example, could have been completely different. Just properly follow up with the damage that they could have had. And now suddenly, not only do they lose the fight, also half the damage onto the tier 2, but they want to come in. Tomash is there with the Blink Dagger. Who's he gonna go for? The Hex onto Tron. They're gonna go for the Nyx Assassin. Tracked up as well. Do they have enough damage? They're shackled up. Oh yes, they do. A nice skewer onto King R as well. So, Magnus, he gets one in return, getting closer to his Blink Dagger. Blur Brain should be able to outrun them easily though.
Yeah. The Medusa hasn't really been involved in very many of these track kills, currently farming up mid. Wadafaka's in complete catch-up mode, as the rest of her team is going to be fighting 4v5 for a good portion of this game, but they're making it work, just finding really nice skewers as well as good initiations on solo heroes. PGG's up in top. There isn't any backup, but Equal is roaming up there. Empower's coming online for the Magnus. He is level 10. It's only level 1 Empower, but that's still going to give them a little bit more farming power on the Medusa. Yeah, tier 1 tower in mid's going to be pushed down, as Tamash is going to drop the Firefly, which will delay this push, especially since they have TPs in. The Blink's available for Tamash, but he doesn't have a lasso.
Top lane, what the fuck, I might be going down once again, out of mana completely, no magic wand either. But Equal actually is going to be enough to make PGG back off. Shuriken toss as well, one more Chinada, that's all he needs, never mind. Just the right clicks will be enough. Track movement speed was plenty, and Tron might go for Equal. Can he actually get it? Oh yes, with the help of Vegas, he sure can. So 1 for 1. But it was a track kill once again for xGame, so coming out slightly ahead.
I'm not even sure if they do come out slightly ahead. The Bounty Hunter gets a net gain of 247 gold, and the Mirana loses quite a large margin, but then again, because of the comeback changes, Bounty Hunter's track really isn't that beneficial as far as giving you that lead. They are going to go for the RP and top as they get to Skewer back into the Shadow Shaman as well as the Batrider. They drop the wards, but don't lock them down at all. Tron is being focused down, looking for any more lockdown. The Shockwave lands onto 2 as they lasso as well as shackle up Vigos. They will have enough damage despite layering those stuns, and that is going to be a win for xGame, despite the previous trade being pretty even.
That's a huge win as well, because, well, both were cores. Nyx Assassin, you can arguably say, is his support. And mid lane, oh, equal. He got the tower deny as well. So insult to injury, and they might go for the Blower Brain Stalket. He has the blink ready, Skewer out of cooldown. Oh man, Plasma Field just barely connects on Magnus as well. He's still not in the clear yet. Arrow, oh, it gets dodged. Kingar, can he steal anything huge? Equal, gonna get telekinesis up. Shockwave through as well from Kingar. They're actually turning it around, Blower Brain. He's leading the charge. The blinks though, I mean, yes, Razor is fast, but blinks, they just get you so far.
Yeah, they definitely do. It's another kill on the Bounty Hunter, which is pretty nice for Moscow 5. It's still a very topsy-turvy game. If you take a look at who has the farm on either side, it's unfortunate for xGame that their Medusa is as far as behind as she is. Now, working with an Ultimate Orb, any of the Ultimate Orb items for Medusa are pretty nice. I would shy away from Lincoln Sphere and Manta or Scotty would be my personal choices, but even Lincoln's is going to offer quite a bit for this Dusa. PGG currently sitting in mid, potentially looking for an arrow, but for the time being, both teams are currently sitting on the back lines. But with only 15 seconds now on the cooldown for Lasso, they're going to smoke up and looking towards Blow Your Brain.
Wait, by the way, I'd like to ask you, what do you think of Moscow 5 not going for a mech on any of their heroes? Not at the moment, at the very least. Razor, straight off Aghanim Scepter for him. Death Prophet.
Well, speaking of Razor, Blow Your Brain lassoed up in top. He's going to be shocked down, as well as Hex. They have plenty of lockdown and damage to bring down Blow Your Brain, and that is going to be another track kill going the way of 3 heroes after that smoke. They committed most of their cooldowns, but that's what they're there for. Yeah, I really don't like it. I would like to see it probably on the Death Prophet more than the Razor, but even the Razor, like if you're not going to go for it on the Death P and would rather have a Eul Scepter, get it on the Razor for sure. That extra 250 burst tool will be very beneficial, especially since xGame aren't going to get one of their own. Is neither Batrider or Magnus are going to consider building it, and Mech Medusa just isn't a thing.
It's just, xGame, they don't have the craziest amount of AoE as it is, so the mech would actually negate quite a lot. Oh, man, Vigos, was it a huge mistake to TP in? More heroes are coming, the silence completely whiffs, he pops the exorcism, everybody's escaping with the 4 staffs and just trying to run away equal. Would have liked to see him track somebody. Oh, the Euls onto Medusa as well. Should be an easy kill. 4 heroes coming. Stone Gaze though. Is it gonna be the magical spell to actually keep him alive? It got stolen by Kingar as well. They're gonna leave equal behind. Never mind, you got the TP out. Arrow will land onto Stalkat, so he's gonna be a casualty of war. 5-second Arrow. Oh, actually, Reeves, do you really want to come in? Yes, he does. Whoa, huge mistake. Kingar pops his own Stone Gaze as well. They might catch him, and what the fuck here is dropping low on mana. Does make it under the tier 2. Blow Your Brain still wants to keep on going. The lasso though, I'm not too sure if what the fuck should stay around. He's out of mana. He's so low as well. He's gonna get chased down by Blow Your Brain. What? No. Medusa, why did you come back in? Why?
I don't know. He could have just kept on running with the phase boots. It would have been plenty to keep himself alive, but he thought he could do more damage by turning. He was very wrong. Tier 1 tower falls away of Moscow 5 as that deep dive is going to go unpunished. They throw their lasso defensively and aren't able to do anything with it. Damash is going to be able to blink 4 staff away as Kingar is being stalked by equal. You will notice that the Bounty Hunter is serious. He pops his Shadow Walk, not inside the Fog of War, and now Equal is probably going to die from the low ground. The Impale is going to miss, but the Equal Scepter onto the Bounty Hunter. And now, with too many enemy heroes around him, the right clicks are going to be enough, but not before they lose both Rubik as well as the Razor. I didn't see where the Razor died, and somehow Equal survived, so I suppose it was an amazing bait after all is said and done.
Oh, I guess amazing bait or Moscow 5 may be slightly misplaying it. Of course, Nyx Assassin, it's not like it's really easy to land a stun, especially if you're going from low ground to high ground like that. He still hesitated a little bit, which ended up in the Bounty Hunter getting far enough from the range of the Impale. And of course, Reeves coming in from behind as well, getting the Ether Shock. Clean up the Razor like that. Plus, if they get this tower, it's going to be even bigger for them, Vigos though. He is the defensive wall. Oh, another arrow into Stalket. Are you kidding me? It's just an arrow magnet. Probably gonna go down. He has the skewer still, gonna get telekinesis up. Fate Bolt and Silence Shockwave to secure the kill. So they get that one in return. They defend their tower. That's at least good. And I have no this animation. Doesn't he see the arrow or?
Maybe. Like, the servers have been having really sketchy issues, especially on EU West, where you can't see certain projectiles and particles. The arrows are visible for me, but I can't see the particles. I have no idea what's actually going on. They just seem to be really finicky as of late, and that might be why he's just getting tagged by so many arrows, is the Magnus just can't tell when Ron is throwing them. Either way, in the Roshan pit, it is going to be Moscow 5 taking that next objective. Vigos falls pretty low as they're going in it with the Death Prophet tanking it up. Although with an arrow now following up, they'll have plenty of damage, although Vigos is probably going to be forced to pop that regeneration rune. That's what it's there for. The rest of the team coming out from xGame are currently up top. They're not able to get any map trades, although they might find a pick-off. If Blow Your Brain goes into his own jungle, he might step his bounds a little bit too much, as the Bounty Hunter does catch vision of him. The Bat Rider is there with the Blink Lasso, but the Firefly is wearing off, and the rest of the team is back, so he's actually not going to get caught out, although that could have been a kill.
Oh, Tron finds Stalker. Don't think Magnus is in trouble. Actually, might skewer Tron onto the high ground if he really wants to go for it. He will stop as well. Can they get the arrow to follow up? Yes, they do with the silence. And Stalker, unfortunately, once again, will fall. Or actually, will he? Yes, he does go down in the end to BGG. So Moscow 5 getting another nice pick-off. And Kingar, well, I guess Empower kind of the most useless spell to steal for him at the moment.
Yeah, since it is only level 1, there's nobody to abuse it. If they had the likes of an anti-mage or maybe another melee carry, that can be a very useful spell. But this game, it is more or less completely wasted. He would have loved to get Shockwave, however, is Wadafaka in mid. Going to be lifted up by Kingar as he steals himself Split Shot, another fairly useless spell, but the arrow is going to land on Wadafaka again. No mana shield is going to be used by this Medusa, and it's going to cost her a life. She probably would have died either way, but still, she'd die a lot less quickly, as Medusa is a hero incredibly low HP, and her survivability is almost all inside that mana shield, and if you don't turn it on, it's a useless spell.
I have to agree with you. You really should come out of the base with the mana shield activated. Sometimes when you die, you forget to reactivate it, which might have been the case here as well. But if you're playing at such a level as xGame is, you really shouldn't make such slow mistakes. At the moment, I really see no reason not to keep it activated, especially if you're up against Moonlight Shadow plus just the Impale from Nyx Assassin himself anyway, who has now a Blink Dagger as well. Just initiation power for Moscow 5, even better, plus with the Aegis now looks like they're gonna get the tier 2, the Impale will follow on to equal as well, but can they get enough? Oh, the skewer completely misses. They can't really do too much with the Bat Rider either, and everybody's gonna escape with their lives, unless Vigos, he wants to go for more equal, thrown up in the air, another Crypt Swarm comes through. Oh, the Ghosts, they're not gonna be enough. Magic Wand keeps the bounty alive, still tier 2 down, and I guess back off until the next Exorcism and go for more objectives.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Currently 17 to 17 in the kill score. It's a very even game. The lead is currently in Moscow 5's side of the court because they have so many towers down in their favor. But then again, xGame are fairly close for being a total of, let's see, 3 towers down on the enemy team. So it's still pretty important for them to fighting its... Is it 3 towers? Yeah, it is. Yeah, I didn't miscount. It is a Blink Dagger now on the Shadow Shaman. He's going to forego going for a quicker Aghanim Scepter, just allowing them to have more initiation, which definitely isn't a bad thing.
I think they kind of need it as well at the moment. As holy crap, Vigos finishes up a Heart of Tarrasque 22 minutes in. This Death Prophet is so damn farmed, to be honest. Plus has an Aegis on top of that. Kingar purchases HM as well for their team. And I think xGame has their own as well. Yes, they do on the Bat Rider, Tomasz holding it. But Vigos, this Death Prophet is so damn scary, and xGame, their highest farmer is the Bat Rider. Yes, it's always nice to have farm on really any hero, but their Medusa struggling as hard as he is, it's gonna be a huge worry for them. Still doesn't have his Lincoln Spear finished 23 minutes in already.
Yeah. In mid, the Aghanim Scepter on Blow Your Brain is going to be put to use. The tier 2 tower is now sieged. An arrow is going to be thrown by PGG, lands into a creep. Nobody's really there with the exception of the Medusa and the Magnus, and with Stallcat with very low HP, they really can't go for this. The Shockwaves to delay, but that's it. Tier 2 chopper on top is going to fall to Reeves and his ultimate of the Serpent Wards. But still, they might lose even more. Their high ground defense is pretty solid with the Bat Rider as well as the Magnus, so they can't really go for more, so maybe this trade is going to benefit xGame after all. Although, if they get arrowed and picked off, that could be a different story. The arrow is going to be wide towards the right.
Well, looks like xGame, they're finally TPing back, but they need a huge reverse polarity, really, because 7 more seconds, so with the next creep wave, they can pop the Exorcism and go for it. He has the Aegis, so doesn't have too much to worry about. Of course, if you pop the Exorcism and die, the Aegis really doesn't do all that much because you won't have your highest damage short. But oh, they're gonna go in onto Blow Your Brain. Of course, immediate Purge comes out. Arrow will follow. Actually, never mind. It doesn't catch anybody. Blow Your Brain. Taken out first. Talcat couldn't get the reverse polarity. Telekinesis was immediate. Stone Gaze is there as well. Final reverse polarity. Catches one PGG. Shackled up as well. 3 heroes already down. Vegas with the Exorcism. I'm not too sure if the Exorcism will be enough to just take on 5 heroes.
No, it's not going to be so, and Vegas is going to be forced back. That fight went really well for xGame as they peel away everybody. Vegas is going to be hexed up, but they're going to ignore him for now as they go into King R. But the Exorcism kills off the Shadow Shaman as the Bounty Hunter does get another kill. It's a gem on the deck, and that's going to be secured by xGame as Vegas is the only survivor still with the Aegis. They decided not to focus that Death Prophet. It cost them their Shadow Shaman's life, but definitely a good fight for xGame. The total gold swing, just in the raw gold, is going to be about 3,000, and that's not even including the gem that was secured by them. Tomasz currently with gems for each of his eyes.
That was such a huge fight. Moscow 5, they were pulling ahead quite nicely suddenly. Gold lead or net worth lead once again in xGame's favors, even if just by a little bit, about 500 or so. XP nearing 1000 as well, so about a 4k swing for both of the graphs at the moment. And of course Medusa getting some much needed gold, finally has the Lincolns finished. Not too sure how much it's gonna actually make a difference. Yes, some nice stats, some health and mana regeneration, but the Lincoln's buff itself, I'm not too overly convinced how good it's actually gonna be here.
No, especially since it's not really blocking anything incredibly useful. The initiation from Rubik, from the telekinesis is going to be stopped, but honestly, it's very lackluster. When you have the Impel still going through with the arrow, all of their lockdown spells are going to pierce that Lincoln sphere. Razor and Aesthetic Link now does get blocked by the Lincoln, so I suppose that's useful, and it's going to block the mana burn, which is also nice. But honestly, if you don't have your mana shield turned on, it doesn't matter. Either way, the Medusa just needs more, and she's not finding that farm.
Oh, at the moment equal. They want to go for mid lane. Blow Your Brain might be too beefy of a target. Actually, Moonlight Shadow, he gets tracked just before. There's the lasso as well. Do they have enough burst to bring him down? They shoot with the 5 of them. Even reverse polarity spent for just that one kill. Impale though, catches 2 from Tron. Taking a lot of damage from the Mass Serpent towards equal. He's on the run. Stone Gaze is there as well. They want to go into Vegas. He has Exorcism just now. It came off cooldown. But xGame, they're not ready to fight anymore. They used all of their ultimates there.
Yeah, they did. If they only use the RP, I still say that is a good fight for them, as they get a lot of track gold as well. PGG's hunting for arrows, not going to be able to find any yet, but they blow everything, and now they lose their bounty hunter on top of it. It's not pretty at all. The Medusa is going to go down towards bottom and farm up, but it's still a killing spree going the way of the enemy team, and now with no fighting potential. xGame holding the high ground is going to be incredibly difficult. They have a BKB on their Batrider, but then again, it's just a BKB. He has the lasso in 20 seconds.
Stalkat eats another arrow. Nice force there from Tomasz. Keeps Stalkat alive. But man, those arrows, maybe this time around it was a little bit sneakier as well, so maybe he didn't have a chance to even spot it out, even if he does see the animation. But look at this tower, it's just completely melting. They will get the Blink Hex onto Vegas. He is completely fine, still half HP remaining. Batrider wants to come in, he has a BKB now as well, and they're gonna go for Vegas. They need to burst him down fast, unless he gets the Yule Scepter off. There's the Yule Scepter, dodges the Flame Break as well, Reeves. Drops extremely low, they're going for Rax, slowly but surely. Blow Your Brain is there with the Eye of the Storm as well. Is this going to be Rax or M5? Do they back off?
I think they back off here. They forced out the Magnus buyback. They're going to have RP coming up with cooldown in 20 seconds, and I think this is a wise move. They also get a tier 3 tower. They lose nothing. They're going to find an Impale onto the poor Bounty Hunter, and he's going to be blown to bits. They find another kill. This isn't really a very important kill as far as their team fighting potential is concerned, but then again, it's still going to be fighting 4v5, and that might be enough to allow Moscow 5 to go high ground again for this barracks.
Oh, the stun was almost a double one arrow though. Tomasz catches it, so can't go for the initiation. There's the reverse party once again, only catching one hero, and it's the Nyx assassin as well. Not all that important. Skewer even just spent to kill that, but Vigos might get chased down here. Never mind, they're focusing their attention on the Blow Your Brain instead. Stone Gaze not gonna catch him. He's just gonna outrun them. Really? Can he escape? The track is gonna be there, Tomasz. 2 stacks of Sticky Nape. I don't think Blow Your Brain can escape. He was close, but not close enough.
I'm not so sure. I think he's out free. They're going to silence up Reeves, and there's just too much backup here. They're going to RP too. Is that stolen by King R? He's hit more heroes with the RP than the Magnus has in this last RP, but it doesn't matter. He'll give up his life for the safe retreat of the Razor. Blow Your Brain does get back to base. Yeah, currently on the sidelines, it is going to be Vigas catching eyes onto Tomash, or at least his Firefly, and this might be very problematic for Vigas as he's going to be hexed up. Surfboard's committed, he's going to be shackled in place. Reeves is incredibly low and might fall, he will, to a nice 3-man impale coming out from Tron, but Tron forced a Vendetta defensively. Still, it's going to be a kill going the way of xGame, and a great kill at that. Without Surfboards near the tower, this tier 2 tower push is going to be slower, but it's still going to be fast enough, as they'll be able to take this with not really a chance of Moscow 5 defending.
Oh man, what are these fights? Both Rubik as well as the Death Prophet. Oh, actually there's a buyback as well. He has the exorcism. They're gonna get the stun onto what the fuck. A skewer back from Stalkat. No reverse polarity. Kingar. Can he steal anything at all? Actually, never mind. He's still dead. They're going for Stalkat first. Force step onto Blow Your Brain as well. Should be able to chase down Stalkat. Eye of the Storm. Getting some nice damage done so he can't blink off. Actually, can he blink? He's actually choking it out Stalkat. Oh man, Blow Your Brain. So unfortunate for him. And the exorcism. It's just not gonna kill anybody really. Bounty Hunter, the only casualty.
Yeah, Bounty did get a kill on an assassin. Previous to that, it's still so topsy-turvy. Like, all of these team fights are going back and forth, and finally your Medusa is starting to get some items. Now Yasha on your Medusa, net worth isn't looking that terrible compared to that of the Death Prophet, especially after that last buyback, stalling out Vigas' item progression. xGame are still not out of it. They've held high ground, and really that's all you can ask for. They've lost to tier 3, but it's the barracks that count. The range barracks in bottom is looking incredibly low with 96 HP. If anybody so as much as breathes on it, it's going to fall. Lasso into illusion, however. Tomash finds the wrong hero. He's going to flame break back King R. King R might still fall here, but he doesn't have any backup for it, so no, he's not. They blink forward Reeves. He's very deep in enemy lines, and now Tomash is going to get the memo that they're going back into King R. They shackle him up, but the impale lands into that rider. King R is going to burn the fire and the flames, but they're going to lose too. The BKB forced out by Tomash is not going to save you from the Eye of the Storm and the whips of the Razor as they find themselves 2 kills, only losing King R's Rubik.
Plus, they get their gem back now as well. Actually, it is the one King R purchased before, so it's even bigger of a fight for them. Oh man, this game, both teams are... I'm not too sure they're not wholeheartedly in the game or in the fights, or I'm not too sure they're just going one by one so often. Yeah. They don't have any proper information about the whereabouts of the enemy team either, really. They're just, okay, YOLO, we can get that 1 kill and back off, and suddenly there's like 3 heroes there.
Yeah. There is 1 ward on the entire map. This is incredible. Like, it's this ward down here, and that's it. It's not going to give them any vision. In fact, it's a defensive ward in their jungle that's actually not doing anything. Roshan's going to be taken by Moscow 5, and with a blank map, xGame are not going to know this is happening. They might suspect it, but they're not going to be able to stop it. Exorcism isn't available, but it doesn't matter. They have plenty of time in order to take this one. Arrow is going to be thrown to poor Roshan. Bounty Hunter's pushing out top, but how much pushing can Equal actually do on a bounty?
Definitely not the fastest of split pushers, but he has his own BKB as well. Definitely will help out. Of course, Exorcism plus the Eye of the Storm still will be able to wreck through more or less anybody if they are focused by them. Still will help out a great deal. No telekinesis, no impale, no spike carapace, anything of the sort. But now Blow Your Brain has his own Heart of the Rask as well, 2.7k HP. Does Vigas have the next item? Well, closing in slowly on that Shiva's card, but if they get the Shivas, I guess they can just go high ground. There's no need to rush it as Vigas is pretty close to it. Of course, Medusa getting some nice farm of her own, but I just Link and Spear meta style, not enough damage output, I want to say. And power, of course, helps out a great deal. Still, they need a big reverse polarity, really.
They really do, and the reverse polarities this game have been far from impressive. Stallcat, usually his Magnus is pretty on point, but this is just not his day. Catching arrows left and right, consecutively just getting 1-man RPs that don't really amount to anything. Up in top, they're going to find themselves Reeves. The Impale's on the mark, and Reeves is dead. Going to die to the creeps, I believe, but Shadow Shaman is still going to fall up in the top lane. The gold being split between 2 heroes.
Oh, they find Equal as well. They have the sentry down. They use Moonlight Shadow. Equal just pops the BKB. He's still up against so many heroes, and well, going for the TP out, smart decision as well. He knew that I'm probably surrounded anyway, that's my only chance. But still BKB and cooldown, they got the kill onto the Shadow Shaman, who doesn't have buyback either. Holy crap, can this be Rax? Of course, 25 seconds, xGame, they can hold on. with that nice RP, maybe even a nice lasso.
Yeah, it's range barracks at the very least. Vigos is going to hit it once, and the Ghosts are going to do it again. Nothing that they can do to stop that one. The melee barracks might be held. They are going to glyph this one up, although they need to do something quick. And with the spread that Moscow 5 have, the best they can hope for is a 2-man RP. They do get the 2-man RP, but it's stolen and going to be returned onto 3 heroes. This Skullcat's being brought down by the xGame as well as the Eye of the Storm. King R is falling very low to the split shot, but Dimash is also going to die. Blow Your Brain is just not taking enough damage with the Heart of Trask. Jump on the deck. They'll be able to stun Wadafuckin without any mana. He is also going to fall. Triple kill for Blow Your Brain. Barracks on the deck. There is going to be a gem picked up by the Mirana, and now it's a retreat from Moscow 5 that should be completely successful.
Oh god, they got just so much XP out of this as well, M5, plus getting another buyback from xGame. And this Medusa, well, I guess Mana Shield is all good and well, but it did nothing. Just the damage, and of course, I think Rubik man of that fight for sure. Getting the RP and turning it onto 3 enemy heroes. Stone Gaze, thanks to that RP, was pretty much completely wasted for xGame.
Okay, so, as we're probably not going to see a pick off unless Tron gets completely dropped by Tamash, which I don't think he will, if we take a look at the graphs, this is what 3-2-2 looks like, if you've ever wanted to see it. If you look at the net worth, it is just a spiky, jaggedy graph. There's so many kills going on. The little activity graph is just peppered by both sides, and the experience. This is where the lead is actually starting to form for Moscow 5. At the end of the day, what matters is the structures, and they take the barracks, which is why they're leading in this game. But still, they're up against a Medusa, and it's not over for xGame until the Fat Medusa sings. And the Fat Medusa isn't singing yet. They still need a couple more items for that to happen. As Wadafaka would love to have a Scotty and a Divine Rapier on top of this. Just something to hit harder, but it's a long time in coming. They still have time in order to make that happen, but Moscow 5, this game is theirs to lose.
It definitely is, and speaking of Medusa's item choice, I mean, you mentioned the Eye of Skadi and the Rapier. I definitely agree, but I think if he even has time for one item, it's kind of gonna have to be a Rapier, but if he goes for Rapier, his survivability probably won't be enough, so I just feel like Medusa might not have any choice in the matter at the moment. Moscow 5, they're pressuring the last outer tower, because he's gonna have his Exorcism coming off cooldown, or just already came off cooldown now. They just won't have the time to farm up the next set of items at the moment. They do smoke up, trying to go for some sneaky plays. Both Reeves and Wadafucka break the smoke immediately. Arrow will not land on anybody. But oh, the lasso onto Vigos. They need to burst him down so damn fast. I don't think they have enough damage. Scepter up in the air. Reverse Parity catches 2 heroes as well, or actually make it free. Another Blink reverse in return catches 2. But Kingar still goes down in the end. PGG drops low as well. Shackled up. That's actually 3 heroes down. Blow Your Brain barely makes it out. And xGame, they don't lose a single hero. How the hell did they win the fight so hands down?
The RP this time actually was good. Magnus caught 3 heroes, and they do a large amount of damage. The Serpent Wards were also in a good position. They killed the 3 supports, which is pretty much all that they can hope for, but they repel Moscow 5. They still take a tier 3 tower. It's not a huge loss for Moscow 5, but it's still a pretty significant one. There are 2 heroes that needed to survive do survive, as both Vigos as well as Blow Your Brain are going to make it back towards their side of the map, but it's a lot more room going the way of Wadafaka, now 2,000 gold. At this point in the game, I think it is a situation where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, with the Rapier. With the Empower also bolstering the extra damage from the Scotty, I think it's still a solid item choice. They just need to have that RP land. Skullcat is almost, if not the most important hero on the map. King R has been really on point with his Blake RPs, stealing that consecutively whenever it gets taken, but honestly, using that RP last time put him in a very compromising position, pretty much giving away his life to the enemy team, where they're not able to really put that AoE damage down into xGame. Both Eye of the Storm as well as Exorcism are fairly hard to control who they're hitting, and they're also very single target focused.
Well, at the moment, of course, M5, they did lose one fight, but they're still just tanking up. Shiva's card on Death Prophet. I think it was there for the last fight already, as it was. Another 2.5k on top of that. Blow Your Brain gonna have his Aghanim Scepter in. All pretty much 130 gold. Are they gonna find Tron though? No, they're not, I think. Oh, they had the gem on equal. So they actually see Nyx. Come on, yeah. Track him up. Make sure you have some vision going for their team. But xGame, or Moscow 5 rather, they are back for vengeance. Exorcism off cooldown. I have to storm in 10 seconds as well. Is this going to be a successful push unless equal? Do they have a gem on anybody on Moscow 5? Oh,
No,
the
they
Hex out to
don't.
blow your brain. I wrote the follow-up as well onto equal. There's the reverse party. Catches two. Could have been a little bit better, but Stone Gaze to follow up. There's Tomash as well. Didn't activate the BKB. Spike Carapace holds him in place. Finally gonna get the lasso onto Vegas. Could have been a little bit more crisp with the execution, but 2 heroes down. They're gonna get Tron as well. His impale doesn't do too much. They have detection, I think. Yeah, the track comes out as well. 3 solid kills, and if they continue like this, what the fuck guy's gonna get his Eye of Scalia or whatever item he wants to go for, and this Medusa is actually starting to become scary if Moscow 5 don't just get their act together and properly go for Rex.
It really is. Like, the problems in the earlier fights were that xGame weren't fighting as a single unit, and they were able to pick apart xGame's team fight, but the last couple of fights have been really on point. Despite the execution not being perfect, it's still good enough for xGame. Moscow 5 were forced to take a fight entirely around those circle wards, which did a whole truck ton of damage. Not even counting in Wadafaka's right clicks, which also were dishing. Wadafaka hasn't decided which item to go for next, currently sitting on 4.5 or 4.7 now K gold on his person. His net worth is really high, but he doesn't have the items to back it up like Blurry Brain does right now. It's going to be a Maelstrom pickup for the Bounty Hunter, which is very peculiar, but honestly I think it's completely fine. With the way that he's been split pushing and eventually getting a Mjolnir, for equal will be really nice to put on the likes of Medusa and company. It's the very epitome of a throwy game. It's completely back and forth. It doesn't feel like one of the teams has a Rax advantage.
It certainly doesn't, and of course, if you're up against a Medusa with split shot, one set of Rax definitely isn't enough, especially if they're in power as well, and suddenly there's even Aghanim Scepter on Shadow Shaman, almost level 3 ultimate as well. So if they can force Moscow 5 once again to fight under the Mass Serpent Wards, it's gonna be even more painful now. And look at Medusa actually going for a butterfly now. I'm not too sure if it's gonna do any good. It's not like Razor's pure right clicks are the biggest threat here.
I think it's still fine. It does a lot of damage. This fight might break out. Supports down on the deck do a lot of damage to Tron as their Aghanim Sceptered up. The RP lands on a 2 in the backline, charges out as well as PGG, and now they're going to get the Stone Form, and all of them are just falling so quickly. RP going to be returned by the Rubik, which might save some of the heroes, especially Vigos. He's tracked up, and the attention of them is going to be split as Blurry Brain's deep in enemy lines as Reeves is considering turning back into it, but with Heart Reach, and they can't do it, and now they're looking for the kill on King R. They'll find that kill. Vigos is probably going to be able to escape with maxed out Witchcraft Phase boots as well as Yule's Scepter. Another fight going their way. Reeves is going to die. He went too aggressively on to Blow Your Brain. They don't have a lasso for 27 seconds and can't kill the stupid Razor with only these 2 heroes. But now they're bringing in the Cavalry. Magnus is coming. The only one that's not there is Medusa. 4 stacks up on the sticky napalm on the Blow Your Brain. He's going to refresh her, looking for the double ultimate to do enough damage, but Stallcat and company bring him down. Batrider getting the dominating spree, or Wicked Sick even. That's going to be another huge win towards xGame. After these crafts update, it's going to be ridiculous to see time and time again Moscow 5 have just thrown themselves in the brick wall that is xGame's team fight.
Really, xGame, of course, I think they've chosen some nice strategical positionings for the fights as well. Or, well, I guess the positionings don't matter that much. It's more of the fact that xGame are catching Moscow 5 by surprise so many times in a row now. And Moscow 5, they were the ones going aggressive first with the Nyx Assassin initiation. Oh god, actually, what the fuck, I might be in trouble. There's the Impale. Coming out as well, Mana Burn to follow, but Tomash, he's around, he's gonna get the lasso onto Tron. They're just turning the kill around. Kingar is around, he can't do anything in PGG. He's gonna have to leap out. Is he even safe here? I think, never mind, no. Tomash. Aggressive Blink, Firefly will finish them up, and I can't believe this tier 1 was still up and around equal. He joins the fight as well. Nice Blink from Rubik though before he takes any damage. He even stole the lasso, but can he put it to good use? Rubik definitely doesn't want to jump in the fight usually.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't really have time to talk about it since a lot of fights were breaking out during the meantime, but that is going to be your completed Medusa Butterfly as soon as Wadafaka feels comfortable in purchasing that, as well as having enough to buy back. Yeah, it's something. it's something.
Plus, of course, track level 3 has been there for the last 2 fights as well. So it's a 13,000 freaking, actually make it 15,000 net worth swing. XP 18,000, actually make it almost 20 even. And they're gonna get Roche as well with the Mass Serpent Wars being level 3 Aghanim's buffed. Holy crap, it's a cheese, Roshan.
It is a Cheese Roshan, and that's going to be Aegis going the way of Whatafaka. Cheese going the way of Reeves as they do find initiation in the backlines and the Blow Your Brain, but Tamash takes too much damage for it. Whatafaka pops the ultimate, pops the Manta style, going to work on Blow Your Brain, but not doing enough damage. He's eating too much as well since it's completely tapped out. Man is going to probably lose his Aegis, but then he got in the backlines to get a double RP onto Tron as well as onto King R, but Stalkat's going to lose his life for it. Aegis is going to be procced by Whatafaka as he turns back on the Mana Shield, trying to work on anybody, but right now they can't do it. xGame, it's only one hero versus 5, and this one hero does not have enough items in order to win this fight, and all of the mana is out. That's going to be a full 5-man wipe. xGame, they get the Roshan, but they lose everything.
Are you kidding me, right? Look at the XP change! 13,000 XP change all of a sudden, pretty much. Or well, I guess it's more of like an 11,000 since the dire side got something as well.
Just wait until it updates. Like, it's gonna be even crazier. It's gonna go straight back down. Buybacks galore, Mag, Shadow Shaman, Batrider, Medusa, everybody and their mother is buying back. The Bounty Hunter, the only one that hasn't. They're going to force that PGG, and they're going to be content with what they've gotten. Moscow 5 come away like bandits.
And actually, what the fuck? He doesn't even have the butterfly finish now, and doesn't have enough gold after that buyback as well here. So this fight was way too crazy. xGame, they felt so damn confident having won like what, the last 3 fights I think it was, plus having the Roshan as well. They just got split up. Equal, he died before he got the proper tracks off. He just completely died in the back lines. And I think Reeves as well got demolished early on the Shadow Shaman. Or actually, never mind, he died in the Roche Pit later to the Exorcism, but them just not controlling the Death Prophet in the fights at all, or in that fight. Plus Reverse Polarity didn't catch really the core heroes either. Oh wow, I just have the graphs updated properly. I guess they haven't, or at least the fight recap was way bigger. But in any case, this game is just so throwy. Oh, now they update.
There,
Gold, zeroed, XP down to 2,000 only for next game. What? Did this game just, who can throw hardest?
I think that's a pretty good way to throw it out. The 3-2-2 is definitely real this game. Yeah, we're going to see Mirana starting to transition a little bit more into a carry role, but I think the bigger pickup right now is Bounty Hunter's Vladimir's offering. Despite not having anybody that benefits very heavily from the lifesteal, it's going to be a whole lot of damage for Whatafaka. That's going to be about the equivalent of a Claymore that you're giving to your Medusa, and that's a Claymore that Medusa didn't have before. The Medusa doesn't have the completed butterfly since she was forced to buy back. So, I don't know, this Medusa's item progression's pretty much stopped. The Razor's the one that's thinking more about his next item, as he has 3,200 gold, and similar for the Death Prophet, 5,200 just casually sitting in Vegas's inventory.
Wow, that gold. Actually, is that a refresher orb? He picks up a Perseverance. Is it really Death Prophet going for a refresher? Of course, double exorcism.
Lincoln's as well, yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. Moscow 5, they are just suddenly so back in this game. Of course, they were always 1 Rex ahead. So you could argue that xGame really didn't hold that big of an advantage, although the graphs... Man, xGame, I really thought that with a couple of fights, they had all the momentum in their side now, but... Just one bad fight with 6.82 is all it takes.
Yeah. It is actually going to be a refresher on the Death Prophet. I thought she might go for a Lincoln Sphere up against the Batrider, but honestly, that Batrider initiation does not phase Vegas in the slightest. With the Heart as well as the Shiva's, Medusa tickles at the moment, and having a double exorcism is probably going to be more impactful. They smoke up as a 5-man group, Moscow 5 looking for something, and that something might just be Tomas as he breaks the smoke, but luckily enough for the Batrider, he's the one with the vision, and Moscow 5 don't have it. PGG looking for the initiation. They'll know that the Batrider is the one to pop it as they catch eyes onto the Firefly on the ground. As Tron potentially looking for the stun, they're not going to fight it. Arrow's going to miss as well, and that smoke is going to net them nothing, although... Tron is currently vendetted up, looking for an opening. If history is any indicator, xGame are going to lose the next fight, not because they... Or, are going to win the next fight, not because they have an advantage, but because they don't have an advantage. Yep.
I guess the logic actually makes sense for this game, at least since the graphs. They've been so up and down throughout the entirety of this game, really. We saw one huge lead, which got taken away from us, from them as well. And of course, xGame, they don't have a single buyback. 4 of the heroes had to buy back previously already. So if they can hold on for another 2 minutes, they will have them off cooldown at the very least, if they even have enough gold for it. But oh, they get the last one to Vigos. They need to burst him down so damn fast. There's the reverse priority onto 2. Nice force though. They're keeping Vigos alive. That's the best decision as well. Blow Your Brain, just wrecking havoc in the front lines. With his own refresher, double ultimate as well. He's just trying to chase people down, but skewer into the base. They actually get him as well. Just the bare maximum of that range, and 2 heroes dying. I guess, man, your logic is flawless. xGame, they win the fight.
Amazing. I would have never guessed it. It's going to be a Razor that ends up dying in the well. When there's still tier 3 towers standing, the Razor just went so deep to secure the retreat of the enemy heroes. I don't even know what the Razor was doing. That's not your base, bud. But he is going to be brought down. It's pretty crazy. This game is absolutely insane.
I think insane is probably the best word for it. I haven't seen such a throwy game for a pretty long time. Then again, I haven't seen two CIS teams go up against each other for quite some time as well. And PGG, he's gonna get caught by Tomasz. 2-1, lasso, is he gonna use it? Yes, he is. Kill secured. What the fucker, picks it up for himself. Regaining some gold, and they can definitely force some buybacks here.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to see if they're going to be successful in doing so. I imagine that they will. Medusa with the butterfly is hitting pretty darn hard. Currently 300 per one of those little arrows. And to the tier 3, they're going to go. Moscow 5 are going to hold on their buybacks for now, and they might be saved from using razors. They jump in with Tron. He's going to get the impale. Only on the equal, however. They are going to drop the ultimate from Vigos as he is forced to use the refresher. Tron is going to fall on the backlines. Yule Scepter's up. The buybacks come out galore from the Razor as well as... the Mirana. They are going through an arrow that lands squarely on Wadafaka. Wadafaka going to be brought down by the Exorcism as well as the Eye of the Storm. That's 107 seconds with no Medusa. Yule Scepter now going the way of Reeves. Reeves going to impaled on the drop down. 3 kills going the way of Moscow 5. Another turnaround after the lost fight. The buybacks were forced out, but at what cost? Still a win for Moscow 5. Oh, yep, they're not going to find anything else. Off of this is the Batrider and the Magnus are safe enough in their base, but they might lose their base. 84 seconds with no Medusa. Luckily enough for them, they don't have to deal with the Exorcism, but do they even care? Yule Scepter on the Magnets deep into enemy lines. Skullcat not going to be silenced up, but King R is going to steal something. It's going to be the Shockwave. They're going to instead focus on the buildings finally. If you dive that deep, there might be even more 3-2-2, but they're going to look for the end of it as Medusa does now have the money to buy back. Yule Scepter on the Batrider stops the last one from doing anything to the Bloody Brain. BKB forced out by Tomasz. He should have popped that earlier as Medusa with the ultimate trying to chase down Vigos. RP being pump faked by Skullcat, not going to land on anybody. They are going to lose their Nyx Assassin. But then again, they force out the buyback. There's your RP. Finally going to be thrown out, but solo onto Bloody Brain. Will they be able to take him down? It looks like they have the damage. Shockwave, a couple more auto attacks. He's escaping. He will not escape. In the end, the last little arrows to reduce. They give a double kill the way of the Dusa. But the range barracks in mid have already fallen, and it looks like Moscow 5 will be able to escape. Still not a bad trade for them, although a lot more even than I thought it would be.
And it was actually so clutch. Medusa's buyback just came off cooldown there. If it had been maybe like 20 seconds even later, they possibly could have been screwed up against Mega Creeps now. Suddenly though, Razor doesn't have buyback either. xGame, if they just barrel down the mid lane, do you think they can just go for tier 4s and get the Ancient now?
I don't know.
Oh, bottom lane, they're gonna catch Tomasz better. Can he escape somehow? BKB activated. Actually might outrun them. The physical damage though. No, Kingar, he misses the one right click after the 4-staff. Tomasz blink through. Oh, the boots on our cooldown. Kingar, he's gonna catch him. Has the sticky napalm as well. Crypt Swarm gets the kill. Little bit unfortunate for the bat, but xGame, what the fuck, they're still going through the mid lane. Wow, this game just... When will it actually end? When will the throw stop?
I don't think they'll ever stop until the Ancient's down, and then even then we have the potential to see another 2 games in this series. I'm pretty pumped. This could be a lot of fun. Medusa pushing out mid, not going to be tagged by the Impale, but Equal will. Wadafaka trying for the TP out. They will be able to cancel, popping the Linkless Mana Burn, then Yule swing up in the air. Wadafaka does have a little bit of backup left as the Exorcism on the backlines is going to rip through poor Reeves. Reeves is going to die as the buyback comes out from the Batrider. Wants to get back into this action as Medusa as well as Equal going forward retreat. The Impale is going to land squarely on the Medusa, now completely tapped out of mana, but Tron's the one to fall. The Shuriken is going to be bouncing through as the arrow lands on Wadafaka. Skewer back to the 2 heroes. The RP solo onto Vigos. They don't have enough damage to bring down his Death Prophet, but they refresher onto the Magnus looking for another RP. They're not going to find it. Now chasing down King R. King R might fall as the Yule Scepter on the Bounty Hunter. King R is going to fall, as is the Nyx Assassin. Wadafaka completely out of mana. The refresher onto Tratata. He is going to be able to pop that Exorcism. Looking for the damage on Tomasz. It's going to be there. The Eye of the Storm isn't focusing him down as the creeps are lower, but now it's going to change targets as now he's falling very low, and Vigos will fall after all is said and done. What the heck is going on? Death Prophet buying back, still chasing. Wadafaka is very low, but they're not going to kill him as he's running away. The Plasma Field's not going to land, and they don't have a way to pursue on top of this. PGG, not enough mana for more than one arrow. Where's the arrow going to land? It is going to miss onto Skullcat as he is going to be able to skewer away to safety. After all is said and done, is it actually done? I think so. The throws have ended, but only because there's not enough gas in the tank.
Oh, equally. Oh, he even went for back for the gem at the moment. Don't think the gem will make a huge difference, of course. Maybe the Moonlight Shadow otherwise might. Equal. Wow. Almost got dusted by BGG. And this game, 49-40. We're 53 minutes in. We still don't have a clear victory yet, because M5 they're slightly ahead in objectives, but it's really such a small difference. And of course Medusa, I thought he's gonna go down there really. He dropped so low, he got completely drained of his mana thanks to the mana shield. And suddenly the damage just stopped because Lasso came out onto the Death Prophet. Plus I think the secondary reverse polarity was also used onto him. Oh man, reverse polarities, I think both of them actually connected only to one hero, but in the end it was enough. Medusa doesn't die. They keep on going. Medusa's level 25 as well. Boots of Travels even onto equals Bounty Hunter now. And they're on the hunt. Roshan is up as well. Without Exorcism though. Without... Well, they had Eye of Storm if need be. But this might not be fast enough.
It might not be. Let's see. They are going to have a Batrider coming in. They are smoked up. It's going to pop. They know Tron is here somewhere. They're going to be able to get blasted with the gem on the Batrider. Tron's going to be the first to fall in this team fight, dropping a gem of his own as they're forced out of the Roshan pit, only at half health. They are going to be pursuing people with equal, although no detection on the Bounty Hunter proper. They're going to move in the Roshan pit instead, as with the Surfboards, they're going to be much more adept at taking this one.
Oh god, what are we watching? Ages up on what the fucker. Reeves actually picks up the cheese on the Shadow Shaman. Stalkat, does he have his? Well, 40 seconds away from the double reverse. If they can land a good one though, it's just probably going to be game over. Arrow will barely miss what the fucker, but he's going balls deep now, just PGG, forced to leap out. Unfortunately, no way of Skadi on what the fucker, so he can chase down solo. Tomash though, he wants to go in as well. Kingar trying to back up from the side. Oh, Lincoln's popped. I guess that's something for them, but Moscow 5 on the back foot. Looking at the graphs. Well, I guess they don't mean too much by this point. 54 minutes in, 8k XP, 7.5 in net worth. And of course, it can change just with one fight.
And it has been changing. This graph is the EKG of anybody here. I don't know, maybe they have like an arrhythmia or something, but it's pretty messed up. Let's see. It's still anybody's game. All tier 3 towers on the side of xGame have fallen, but if there's any hero that can come back from that amount of structural damage inside your base, it's a Medusa. And Medusa now currently sitting on 4,500 gold. This might be time for Rapier now that they have an Aegis. Still a little bit ways away before they're able to have that item, but that would be the physical damage that they really want to have in these team fights.
Oh yeah, they definitely do at the moment. Oh god. Moscow 5, they looked so good at some point. I have no idea how they even kind of failed to get another set of racks after the bottom lane. Of course, they haven't been there using their ultimates most optimally either really. With the refresher orbs as well. For example, Razor, once when he was running away, like from this side, he popped his refresher with the second ultimate when he was down to what, like 25% HP against 3 to 4 enemy heroes. So, Refresher Orb, you definitely don't want to use it without caution because it's a pretty long cooldown.
It definitely is. For now, it's just going to be both teams backing off. Whatthefuck is mopping up all of the farm in these lanes, working towards his next item, and whatever it will be, Medusa is going to be hitting hard. It might pivot on the fact of the next team fight and how that actually goes for xGame, although with still a decent amount of time still on the Aegis, it might be something a little bit more flashy. Currently, it is just going to be some of those nice TP scrolls flying out on the Naked Greeble.
PGG, oh, don't get caught, man. He's the one with the gems when running around. Diffusal Blade will help out somewhat. Not too sure how much of a difference it will actually make, but man, double reverse Parite Stalkat. Can he hit more than one hero with both of them?
Oh, we'll see. It is going to be High Ground Siege in mid lane. They're going to be the ones to take a complete set of racks as both the melee and the range are going to fall to the might of Whatthefuck. The melee was already taken previously, but now it's just rinse and repeat for xGame. They have double RP, and if that lands, it's going to be huge. Medusa, despite only having 2,000 HP with 1,400 in the mana pool on top of that, is operating with an effective HP of upwards of 3k, probably closer to 4. And now they're going to mop up the creep wave very quickly with empowered Medusa. And into the high ground they're going to go again. This is going to look very similar. If Moscow 5 show their faces, the likes of Batrider and the Magnus are there to pounce on them.
Well, to be honest, xGame, they went for the high ground, on the high ground for a second. Immediately Exorcism coming out from Vigos, and xGame like, yeah, Exorcism down, boys. Next time around, get him to waste the Refresher Exorcism as well. Wait that out and then go for the fight. Because without the Exorcism, even with the double Eye of the Storm, I don't think Moscow 5 can really win. They need the Exorcism there as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and Now, xGame recognizing that's on cooldown, going to get a last one to blow her brain, but the instant Yules is going to delay things, and the BKBs are coming out galore as they're trying to find anybody focused down. Everybody's just kiting. The one that's going to take the lesser end of that exchange is going to be Tron as he's waddling back into the base, looking like a very limp bug. But for now, that's going to be all she wrote, is xGame are going to pull out and completely go back as their base is under siege. They have to drop the Batrider out, and without the Batrider, they're not going to want to pursue that high ground push. So Moscow 5, their heroes don't defend their base, but it's instead their lanes just continuously pushing down the bottom lane.
Oh god, if only Reeves had gotten himself, for example, a ward trap onto really anybody. Tron, even without the ward trap, dropped so ridiculously low. Mass Serpent wards, what are they actually doing a pop? 130 damage, and whoa, that's the Eye of Scott. He finished the Medusa. Not saving for a buyback. Aegis will expire in about 30 seconds. They have to be careful, M5. They're coming, they're smoked up. They have to refresh their exorcism if they want to. Smoke breaks, Tomash, is he gonna be fast enough there? Oh, Impale completely misses from Tron. Gonna get hexed up by Reeves as well. They want to go for Vigos first. Smart choice as well, I think. Reverse polarity Stalcat couldn't go for it. At least not the first one. Skewer back onto Blower Ring. Can he get the double reverse after the Yules? Nope, only catches one, just barely though. Tron drops low as well. Reeves will come in, help out. Blower Rain is dropping low. What the fuck? A Manta style activated. He needs to split shot a little bit more. Aegis. It expires as well. Oh my, if he goes down now, he won't have buyback, I think. Stalcat couldn't get the second reverse polarity to connect onto anybody really, and what the fuck, he's on the run. He's not gonna be fast enough, I think. Both Blower Rain and Vigos, man.
Yeah, they are going to find a little bit more damage onto Reeves. He eats the plasma field. They pop the Lincolns into Wadafaka, still chasing him down. The buybacks galore. They lose Reeves. Wadafaka TPing out. Will he be able to make it? No! The arrow from PGG landing onto Medusa's back is going to snipe her out. There's a solo, or not solo, I should say, bounty hunter, as well as a Batrider still here, but Tamash as well as equal can do nothing. They are going to be able to escape, but they don't save the Medusa's life, and that's 100 seconds with no Medusa, and not a hope that her buyback is going to be ready, as she needs 1900 gold. That's a minute and a half, no Medusa. That's the base of xGame being in shambles.
Well, Reeves fights back as well. At the very least, Exorcism isn't cool now for Moscow 5, so might be enough reason for them to back off here. But Blow Your Brain up to another 5.4k gold. Probably a Salkuras in the making at the moment. Has the Blade Mail already for it. Would definitely help them just first of all tank up against Medusa themselves, as well as boost up their own physical damage of both the Exorcism, Eye of the Storm, and just the right clicks. And even tank up against Mass Serpent Wards, to be honest. But we really need better reverse polarity. Stalcat almost got the double. If he had gotten both cores, might have been somewhat different for the fight. Second one though, I think completely whiffed. But game not over yet. Medusa just gonna be able to respawn.
I think this is Moscow 5 playing it too cautiously. I'm not sure they thought that Magnus actually got off that last RP because he died right as it went off. So maybe they thought it died beforehand and that the Medusa had buyback. But with our omniscient knowledge of this game, they could have gone high ground very easily. They have decent damage with the Serpent Wards, but if the Serpent Wards are dropped in not the ideal situation, the chance that they'll actually be able to kill anybody is so slim. Moonlight Shadow going to be popped. There's no 2-3 towers to give them that true sight, and this could be a very good fight for Moscow 5, but the BKB comes out from Stalcat in time. The Serpent Wards, they trap in Stalcat. He's able to skewer out of them, however, and inside the tier 4 towers, Tron is going to be brought down lasso very deep into the base. Vigos is still going to survive, although he needs to run away. He does have some stacks of sticky napalm onto him. He is going to turn around with the extra shackles onto PGG. Under the Serpent Wards, PGG probably going to fall flame break. A couple more auto attacks. It's going to spell the end of that Mirana's life, and now Wadafaka back in this fight, focuses down Vigos. Vigos going to use himself up in the air, and those spirits are not doing enough as Vigos is going to fall inside the enemy base. He does have buyback, and now going to the RP solo on to Blow Your Brain. That is going to be the death of 4 heroes of Moscow 5. The counter throws, the throws, the throws. It's just never stopping. Like, what is this game?
To be honest, I really think Stalcat needn't have used the RP there. They already got the Eye of Scar slow on him, plus sticky napalms and whatnot disables from the Shadow Shaman as well. Although, it's still definitely worth it, getting a kill like that, and Moscow 5 almost immediate buybacks. They're definitely not gonna wait for xGame to actually reach their base. But xGame, the best they can really do is just either go for Ancient and GG straight out, or get double set of tracks, because look at this, the tier 2 on the bottom, still standing.
Yeah, it's... I don't even know what to say. We're going to see Tamash going deep into enemy lines, but the Firefly is potentially looking for anything. Doesn't have any words and isn't going to be able to clean anything up. Wadafaka deep inside their base. This might be a very risky fight for xGame to take, as they're only operating with one RP. They force out the PGG buyback, and I think they just need to get out of here, or this could go disaster. Let's see how it's going to break down. It's going to start with an arrow. Missing onto Tamash, as now the impale does land onto him. BKB from the bat race. Wadafaka is not being focused down, and he's being able to get lots of damage off. Solo RP again onto Blow Your Brain, but PGG as well as an assassin are going to fall to the might of Wadafaka's right click. You will step her up by the Death Prophet. She's flying up the air with the Spirit still working, but Trotta that's being focused down, shackled into place. They're looking for the RP coming out from the Rubik. It is going to secure the kill onto the Magnus. Wadafaka is still surviving, although incredibly low on mana. Isn't going to survive for that much longer. If he sticks around, do they have any way to lock him down? Flame Break is going to bounce him towards the Medusa, but she's fast enough. They'll lose their Bounty Hunter on the backlines, but still xGame make it out alive with their Dusa, which is the most important hero in this game, bar none. Still, they probably shouldn't have gone for that fight, and it's still a loss for xGame, although not as significant a loss as it could have been.
Well, Magnus doesn't have buyback. Equal on the Bounty Hunter, already used it on the bottom fight before. So, that's actually a huge deal. No reverse polarities for Moscow 5 to be afraid of. Do they have Refresher Orb? Actually, nope. No Exorcism either, really. Blow Your Brains is on cooldown as well. Roshan is up, though. They will have the one Eye of the Storm if they want to use it. And finally, Moscow 5 actually get themselves a Roshan here as well. I'm not too sure if they got like the first or the second one, but ever since the third Roshan, xGame have been grabbing every single one, I think. But even with the Roshan advantages for xGame, the cheese and the Aegis, they haven't been able to just break the fights, break Moscow 5. And just the single man reverse polarities, they just don't cut it in the fight.
Yeah, they really don't. This is not a very impressive Magnus. It feels like a lot of flame going the way of Stallcat, and I've seen his Magnus work wonders, but I don't know. Magnus is a hero that you really have to be at the top of your game to really put to work. It's one of the reasons why we see S4 do really well, and I'm a very individually skilled player, but even S4 has his off days, whereas Magnus just doesn't pull through, and I don't know. Stallcat, if he's able to catch those big RPs, the Medusa is going to rip them apart with the bonus damage that they have, but then again, a single RP on one of the heroes with heart just isn't going to do it.
Well, to be honest, I have to say Moscow 5 have been positioning themselves rather well also. Just do not get split, but Tomashi wants to go aggressive every single time. xGame have gotten the jump themselves. It has worked out, and there we go, lasso onto Tron. Should be a really easy kill, really. Can't even come out of the lasso. What the fuck, strike clicks are plenty, even without the power. But yeah, Mass Serpent was down. That they were waiting for somebody else to jump in from Moscow 5. It must have been.
It really did. Like, that's Aghanim Scepter's Serpent Ward's down for 100 seconds. Losing her Nyx, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's really the biggest of losses for Moscow 5, but they're not going to be able to push off of this at the very least, since they aren't in position, their lanes aren't in a good situation. 5,600, 5,700 gold thereabouts for the Medusa. Wadafaka is getting dangerously close to one of those big hitting damage items, and I think at this point, the only item he should be considering is Rapier. Maybe replace the Lincoln Sphere eventually with some lifesteal for himself. That would be really nice. Other than that, I don't think there's an option for Wadafaka. He just needs to be able to bring down these targets. Maybe he goes a little bit more conservative in the MKB, but honestly, I don't like it. he just needs the deeps.
What are the hero levels even at the moment? Both sides have two heroes at 25. So
the lowest is 20. Like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, Rapier! Woo!
There we go. Finally. There we go. This is the item that we've been waiting for the entire game. And he's going to be able to mop up those creeps indefinitely, and now this Medusa is going to be hitting hard. It was already pretty significant at 400 a pop, but now we're operating with 700 per hit of Medusa, and with the attack speed that she's working with, that's 2 attacks per second. Her DPS is through the roof, and if they catch an RP on more than 2 heroes, that's a 1-team fight for xGame, regardless of what 3 heroes they catch.
I just love how HM was randomly on the ground. Oh, Kingar, he wants to go in. He has the reverse polarity. Can he use it up? Has to blink 4 step away. Blink from Nyx as well. Oh god, he was trying to go for some sneaky plays, but even if he had gotten like 5 heroes, both Vigos as well as Blow Your Brain wouldn't have been close by. So wouldn't have really made a big difference. At the moment, the Blow Your Brain has the Aegis. Nowadays, your Eye of the Storm doesn't persist through the Aegis at the very least, which was broken as all hell to be honest, but also cheese on Vigos. Can they bring the heroes? I mean, yes, Medusa is hitting for quite a lot, but Aegis plus cheese, man, they're gonna have to pump out a lot of damage still.
They have it. but it's still going to be a lot of pressure on the Stallcat to get those RPs so that they're able to kill the other 3 heroes instantly. Without backup, killing the Razor and the Death Prophet isn't that terribly hard. But then again, if they have that backup and are able to stall the Medusa out by using her up in the air, force staffing, just kiting the evil Snake Lady, they'll be in a great position. As long as they're able to keep those ultimates on Vigos as well as Razor going. Yeah, it's going to be harder for the Razor since his ultimate doesn't persist through his Aegis. If he does lose his life, that's all of the lightning coming out from that Eye of the Storm. So, depending on when he decides to pop that refresher, it could be pretty crucial. But for now, it's a completely stalled out game. Nobody's going to want to make a move. The Rapier on Medusa, despite being an item that gives you a ridiculous amount of damage, and some might think makes you want to play aggressively so you can just rip apart the enemy team, it actually does the opposite for both sides, as Medusa doesn't want to lose it, and Moscow 5 don't want to jump into it. So it's right now going to be that Mirana ultimate being used, looking to find anybody out, and that person might be poor Equal. Equal is going to be brought back into the Impale, but the Batrider's there with the BKB, as well as the Lasso going the way of Trottodad. They don't have the Medusa Dart out of it. Where is she? RP being pump faked by Stallcat. He's going to drop it. It blows up the poor Rubik. Blowy Brain shackled and placed under the Serpent Wards, and now Medusa's able to get that uptime on the auto attacks, and Blowy Brain is going to be blown apart. That's going to be the Aegis down, and now Tron almost going to be two-shot of the RP onto Trottodad. They don't get all of the heroes in the RP. Doesn't matter. Waterfucker going to lose a lot of his effective HP with that mana burn, draining 605 points. He's getting his damage drained and needs to run away. Flutter being used by the Medusa to just get that extra bit of movement speed, but he's now purged up. Waterfucker might be losing the Rapier here. He's currently working with a decent amount of HP. Where's the backup for him? They're going to do everything they can to keep this Medusa alive, but it's not going to be enough, or will it? With all of the ultimates being spent on the Medusa, that's Rapier on the ground, secured by Blow Your Brain, and now this game is all but over. No buyback on the Medusa. That's buyback on the Batrider, but what does it matter when all of your creeps are dead and they're going for the Juggler? Tier 4 is down. GG, called up by Wadafaka.
What a crazy game this was, guys, and it's only a best of 3 as well. If game number 1 was this crazy, I don't even know what to expect from the rest of the series. And to be honest, Medusa, he actually got 5-second arrow there from PGG. That really set everything up. Otherwise, without the 5-second arrow, Medusa's right clicks, I think, would have killed off probably both Vigos as well as Blow Your Brain. But man, Moscow 5, it was really their game to lose, and in the end they somehow pull through. Oh man,
it was ridiculous. I have no words for this. I hope that game number 2 is as crazy as game number 1.
Oh, and so do I, guys. So saying that, we're gonna head into game number 2's lobby now. We're gonna just continue here anyway, since ESFX is having some issues with DDoS and whatnot. So you're gonna see us on Twitch for this game, as well as the channel HeflaTV will go live with Power Rangers versus Screen Squad in about 30 minutes. Or well, I guess they will go live a little bit earlier, but the game will start then. So guys, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did and want to see some more CIS Dota, then stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and be sure to follow us for just some awesome Dota in the future as well. But see you in game 2, guys.